I'm standing in this field in Cheshire. Absolutely gorgeous day. It's been raining for about a week, but today it's absolutely fantastic. And it's very quiet right now. And the sun's shining. It's really nice. But again, I'm having that odd sensation that I guess we all have of which isn't really odd when you say it, but this feeling of being at the centre of your own experience. I feel like I am being at the centre of my own experience. By which I mean that, of course, I know through all sorts of logical reasoning processes about how the geography of the world around me is laid out. I can imaginatively, in my imagination, I can sort of sense what the world would look like if I was looking down through a kind of Google Earth perspective. I can imagine how it would look, how it would be laid out if I was standing in different positions to where I am. But those are kind of imaginative leaps, really. My primary experience is that I'm standing at the centre of this disk formed by the horizon. Horizons are very good in Cheshire because it's so flat. With this bowl of sky above me, and these various perspectival effects taking place around me. These objects occluding other objects, objects receding in size with distance, along with distance, sounds becoming more distant as they appear further away from me. So all those kind of phenomenal situated experiences are happening to me. But the reason why I'm saying that today is because I've just got to thinking about the kind of oddness of that, I suppose. You know, if I can kind of characterize what that experience looks like for me, or sort of symbolize it graphically, it would be that symbol I've used a couple of times before, which is this circle with a point at the center. And I know that's got a bit of baggage with it from kind of Hermetic and all sort of other symbolisms. But that's how I'm kind of imagining it. This circle, which is for me, is the train coming. I'll just let this train go past. The point I like watching it come in through one part of my eye in the darkness beside over here. I like it travelling through the brightly lit part that it's doing right now. So I've got these fantastic yellow carriages forming a horizontal line across my field of vision. And now I'm just sensing it disappearing again out into the darkness. So the last carriage. And it's gone into the blackness again. Anyway, the reason... What am I talking about? Oh yes, I'm talking about being the centre of this circle. I'm imagining it figuratively as a large circle representing the horizon, but it's also kind of representing the horizon of my experience, the limits of my experience. And I'm imagining myself as a point at the centre of that circle, which is a kind of situation, a location from which this sensing has taken place. And that's the kind of graphic I've got. But what follows from that for me is, you know, why is it? And I kind of know the answer from this. I guess I'm deploying Martian thinking here. But why is it that my sense of the world is outward moving? Why is there an intentional flow which seems to lead from this point at the centre of this experience that's happening here, flowing outwards towards the horizon, or flowing outwards to fill the volume of that space between the centre and the periphery? I know that that's not happening in the physics of this experience. Isn't like that. When I'm looking around, that's light pouring into my eyes. In other words, light is making those journeys from the periphery to the centre, or from somewhere in this illuminated space inwards towards the central point. Similarly with the sounds I'm hearing are making compression waves, I guess, in the atmosphere around me, and those compression waves are all moving in the direction of where my ears are, again at that central point. And yet, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm looking out. It feels like I'm listening to something, listening to these things. To is a directional term. So the whole intentional flow, and I think intentionality is something Brentano talks about. Certainly Drew Leder talks about it in The Absent Body. That this sense that we are at the centre of our experience is an active and outward moving intentional sense. I'm wondering what it would be like if that was reversed, actually. I'm just thinking, what would it be like if the polarity of that intentionality was reversed? If I suddenly got this feeling that that all these intentions were still in place, nothing changed about the world. All the birds were still flying through this space, the dogs were still sniffing at fence posts, the trains were still hurtling past, all that stuff was happening. But instead of me feeling that I was kind of going out there into the world to experience it, if I felt it as an inward flow, or if I identified with that inward flow, because I think there's something there to do with identification. I'm identifying myself as the source of those intentions, the focal point of those intentions, the point in which all those various beams of light and compression waves and sound and so on, the point in which they all triangulate, and identify myself with that location. What if I didn't? What if I identified myself with the periphery of the circle and felt the flow moving toward the center? I'm kind of actively trying to do that right now. I'm not having a great deal of success, I have to say. I can feel some slight shifts in the way I feel about the world, but it's very hard not to interpret the sense of seeing as a sense of looking at, looking towards, outward flowing vision. I'll keep working on it, see how I get on. I would like to sense that I'd identify with the inward flow. That's what I'm going to try and do.